Welcome to Seeking the Sacred Self. I'm your host, Naomi Rozak. Today we're going to talk about the sacred self, who or what it is, and why we sometimes feel like something is missing in life in a deep and big way. First, I'm going to tell you a story. In the beginning was a young girl. She came to this world with nothing but a spark, a voice inside that told her who she was and why she was here. This is all we are ever given. When she began her life in this world, she was strong. She was fierce. She was secure and unafraid. She knew who she was. She was connected to herself, and she knew she was sacred. Then the unimaginable happened. Instead of her connected inner reality coloring her outer world, an awful outside reality came and sat on her, obliterating her knowledge of the spark. She was still a child, and she did not understand this change, so she traded away all her connection to stay small, hidden, safe. In the place of connection was a new, rigid bond, the kind that connected her to voices of others instead of her own. She listened to them because the inner voice was gone, and these voices told her new, false things about herself. She was bad. She was wrong. She was not good enough. Instead of strong, she became weak. Instead of fierce, she became timid. She was insecure and very afraid almost all the time. She no longer knew who she was, and the others told her that she was not sacred, but wrong in every way. This is her story, and it is your story too. It's the story of almost everyone you know. Who the others are will look different for each of us. What the others say will also vary. When the others came to stay changes from person to person. Yet we have all disconnected in some way from that spark and lost our sacred self. Still, how would somebody know? Do you have a feeling of wanting inside, so strong that you could die if you don't find out what you're wanting, yet you don't even know what it is you want? That is your sacred self calling you back. Check in with yourself. How often do you want something? Something real, something significant, something in the direction of happiness or fulfillment, and you tell yourself no. You say it's not possible. You say you don't deserve it. You say nobody gets what they want. You say it is what it is. Suck it up, buttercup. You're stuck. Or you have a vague feeling of dissatisfaction, constantly there, and you don't even know why. How often do you feel resentful, frustrated, teary, raw, angry, and find no answer for it? How often do you wake up in the morning and think, another day of this? If you do, your sacred self is trying to connect with you again, and some inherent connection place is blocked. Our job, my job, yours, is to find out what prevents us from hearing our sacred self. Where is the block? And how do we journey through, around, over any blocks to recover our sacred connection? Because I promise you, the connection can be found. The sacred self is who you came to the world to be, who you have always been inside. She is who you are trying to express and live out. This is why your frustration and dissatisfaction run so deep. You know that you're not living life in alignment with this spark. But if you can find her, she, he, they, it, will unveil herself, step forward, and live out through you. She will change your perception, your choices, and your interactions, filling you with such strength and joy that you follow her direction above all else. She, he, they, or it will prove her right to take up space inside you. She is you, after all. You will trust her, and you will feel whole. This isn't the end of the story. In fact, this story is a never-ending adventure. Nobody knows what you will encounter on the way, but I promise it will be full of excitement. First, I want to talk about what it feels like to be disconnected from the sacred self. The biggest feeling is probably that something is missing or something is wrong. We are full of heavy, big energy, feelings that drag us down. Depression, sadness, anger, frustration, rage, or simply just, I feel down, I feel blah, I feel disconnected. Or we push big feelings down and we live vaguely dissatisfied, can't quite put our finger on why. But what it feels like underneath is something isn't right. Something is wrong. And as we said last episode, something is wrong with me. But we don't like the feeling that something is wrong, so we try to fix it. It feels like something is missing, so we start searching for that missing thing. We know we won't feel good until we find it, and we can't possibly stand the idea of others finding out that we're missing that thing. It's entirely too vulnerable, too exposing, too shameful to be known as missing something. So we hide anything undesirable about ourselves, the thing that shows we might be missing something, and we start searching because it's too shameful to say out loud that we don't know how to feel good, how to feel happy, how to live a full life. So there are a few ways we go looking. We think we're missing knowledge, possibly. So we start looking for tools, for expertise, like some kind of missing information from outside. This is where we might try the self-help books. We might go to therapy. We might do the courses. And then we find out it's not working. Or we might try something physical. We think once I have the right house or the car that I want, or I have a group of friends, or I live in the right location or the right kind of home, things will feel better. And it doesn't. Or we look to achievement and success. We look to be absolutely perfect and we look to hit the high mark. Once I reach this certain level, once I earn a degree, once I'm married or have children, once I have a certain amount of followers or a certain type of feedback or a certain certificate, once I prove to myself that I'm good enough, then I'll no longer have this awful deep down feeling that I'm missing some key thing and I'm a terrible person. And this is just a quick reminder. I'm not talking about a slight and identified sense of something missing. Like you may feel you're missing a third child. You don't have a third child. You want one. There's a longing. And so you go ahead and have another one. And then you sense that that part of you is fulfilled. Or you know you want to write a book. And when you're writing it, you feel better than you ever have. And once you're done, you're like, yeah, I did that thing. Like I feel awesome. If you know and feel these things deeply, I would say that those longings are coming from your sacred self and you're already in touch with pieces of it. But the difference here is that you know what that feeling is about. I'm talking about a vague, non-specific, unknown feeling. Often we don't even have words to describe it, and it comes with a drive to fix whatever's wrong because it feels intolerable to be this person who has this wrong thing inside them. And we think, I won't be good enough until this thing, or once I find X thing, everything will be good. The hard part is we work so hard. We reach these places, and then we find they don't fix or satisfy us. Or we try desperately and we can't attain the thing we think will fix us, and we feel even worse about ourselves. And still, the missing thing is deep down inside. There's a reason the outer stuff will never make you feel better, and sometimes contributes more to feeling awful, especially when you prove to yourself that you can't get to where you want to be despite all your trying. What's missing is something inside you. The answers will never come from outside. The missing piece is connection. Connection to the place inside you where you already feel full, whole, happy. You can't feel that place or piece of you because whenever the painful, hard thing happened in your life, you broke away from the place where you deeply feel and are deeply alive, are deeply connected, in order to not have to be overwhelmed by the depths of the feelings that came with that hard thing. Think of connection as a bridge between you and your inner voice or spark. The bridge simply broke under some amount of stress, under the weight of that stress. Now you can't reach that inside place, but you need it. It's meant for you to feel alive. It's meant for you to feel whole and stable. And so you feel that something is missing, because it is. You're missing your inner guide, your spark, your place of balance, of rooting down in yourself, of feeling and knowing who you are, what you need, and what your path is in life. All of this is contained within you. There's no one thing out there that will satisfy your longing to know and feel your true self. As long as you're searching the world of the other, listening to the voice of the other above your own, you can't really hear your own needs. Your own sacred self is speaking. Only question is, are you willing to go on the adventure of learning to hear and connect with who you really are? Last episode, we talked about hearing or acknowledging a feeling. Today, we're going to say to that feeling and your sacred self, hey, hello, I know I'm having this feeling. I'm going to honor the feeling. And I understand that this inner part of me is trying to tell me something. I want to hear what my inner self is saying. Please show me the next step. The next step will usually be ultra simple. When you're listening to your inner self, something in life will start to appear a little brighter to you, a little more interesting than everything else. It will tug at you, make you want to know more, make you dig in a little. Look for a heart response, a pull, an excitement. Instead of thinking that I should do this or I should do that and kind of getting this draggy feeling, look for I want to do this or that. This thing feels exciting. This thing feels like possibility. And then follow that thing. I'm not going to give you strict examples because I want you to use your own self-awareness to tune into it. Self-awareness is really how we notice what's going on inside of us. And it is how we walk the pathway to our sacred selves, the many pathways, because we all have more than one. Just look for the excitement, the interest. Look for people and things that stand out to you that feel like lightness and a sense of, maybe. And then anything that feels like constriction or shutdown, if that feels like lack and fear, anything that says, I probably should do this to fix myself, or probably should do this because I have to, let it go. Know that you're on your own journey and you don't have to buy into those things anymore because you're looking for your sacred self. You're looking for the thing that is going to transform your life. And you won't transform your life by doing more of what hurts or doesn't help you, more of what keeps you small or disconnected, more of what keeps you under strain, more of what keeps you listening to the voices of people outside of you instead of what's inside of you. It's okay if the next step is still looking for support or for someone to help you with understanding where you are and how to walk this pathway. The difference is that the person or support should see you as whole already, should be wholeness based. And you, with your own agency, they will champion that. They will champion your right to choose. This person or a thing or resource should not make you feel worse about yourself. And it should be something that you want, where something inside you is saying, I think this is for me. This feels right. Like this feels good. This feels like possibility. Let yourself want and let yourself go after what you want from deep inside. Thanks for listening. If this episode resonates with you, subscribe to Seeking the Sacred Self and share the podcast with a friend. I'll see you next time when we go deeper.